Hello everyone and welcome back to the Synergy Sanctum. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here at the Synergy Sanctum, we specialize in all things related to Magic the Gathering, with a specific focus on deck building. So I aim to show you very quick deck techs that'll show you all of the cards in the deck and how they work together to ultimately achieve the goals of that deck. If you're not already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And we also have a sister channel now, so head on over to Commander Coliseum and check out their content as well. And for today's deck tech, we have another Ninja Turtle spoiler with Splinter the Mentor, a mono black EDH deck focused on sacrificing, getting a ton of payoffs from non-token creatures leaving the battlefield. Very strong ability here with Splinter the Mentor, and he does have a partner ability on it, so I feel like a lot of people are going to build this with whatever other characters have character select. I think the only one spoiled right now is the Donatello one that also makes mutagen tokens, so not too crazy here, but we're going a mono black sacrifice strategy to just play Splinter. He has Menace, and then whenever he or another non-token creature you control leaves the battlefield, you get to create a mutagen token, which basically puts a counter on a creature. And then he has partner character select, so you can pair him off with other spoilers that are probably coming soon that are going to have that ability as well. So very affordable deck here. Current TCG market value is $107 to $148, and our land count is 35, with 27 of those being swamps and 8 of those being non-basics. So getting into the deck today, here are all of the cards that have this sacrifice strategy built into it, and they're basically either sacrificing things themselves or they're forcing other people to sacrifice. So Woe Strider, when he enters, he creates a goat, and then you can sack a creature with him to scry one. Gravelighter, when it enters the battlefield, you draw if a creature died this turn, otherwise everybody's going to sack a creature, which they will anyway. The Seer lets you sack a creature to scry one as well. Fleshbag Marauder is causing everyone to sacrifice. Vampiric Rites is on you to sacrifice, and then you gain a life and you draw. Ophiomancer is creating a snake for you at every upkeep, so it's giving you sacrifice fodder to go ahead and keep these engines going. Priest of the Forgotten Gods, very strong card here. She can sack 2 other creatures, any number of those of target players, then each lose 2 life and sack a creature as well, and you get to add 2 black mana and draw a card. Demon's Disciples, forcing everyone to sack, as well as Plague Crafter. Yara, First of the Lochthwain, when a black creature enters on your side, you gain a life and each opponent loses a life, and then she can sack another black creature to have you draw a card. And then Merciless Executioner and Accursed Marauder are forcing everybody to sack a creature. And then here are all of the death triggers. There's going to be a lot of things dying and a lot of sacrifice synergy here, so we want to get payoffs off of those. So Zulaport Cutthroat is draining everybody, and you're gaining a life when a creature you control dies. Morbid Opportunist is letting you draw when any creature dies. It's just once a turn, though. Seer Conrad the Grim cares about stuff entering or leaving the graveyard, and he does damage to everybody when it happens. Midnight Reaper is letting you draw, and you take a damage from it anytime a creature dies, a non-token creature dies. Pitiless Plunderer is making you treasures anytime they die. Marionette Apprentice is making everybody lose life when stuff dies. Pawn of Ulamog is making you a bunch of Eldrazi spawns anytime a non-token creature you control dies. Agent Venom is giving you draw when another non-token creature dies, and so is Harvester of Souls. And then Grim Haruspeck says that whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card. So a ton of card draw here with all of these death triggers, and you got to think too, everything we're describing, Splinter's going to be making that mutagen token to make himself bigger as well. And then even more death triggers, so we're running a Driv Nod Carnage Dominus, which basically doubles up all of these abilities we're describing. Blood Artist is draining 1 person for a life, and you're gaining anytime any creature dies. Black Market's getting you a ton of black mana at your pre-combat main phase for however many charge counters are on it, and those happen when creatures die. And then Bastion of Remembrance is an enchantment that drains everyone, and you gain anytime a creature dies. And then we're going to be losing a lot of creatures, so we do want a decent amount of recursion in the deck as well. So running a Persistent Specimen, which can come back from the graveyard at the cost of 3 mana. Forever Young, and these other cards that are on the slide here let you put any number of target creatures from your graveyard on top of your library, and then you draw. Foot Bottom Feast does the same thing, but it's at instant speed. And then we've got the lands with Mortuary Mire and Memorial to Folly, which bring creatures back from your graveyard to either the library or your hand. Doom Necromancer trades places with one of them, so you can sack him for a black mana to bring something back. And then Grave Purge is another one of these spells that puts any number of creatures from your graveyard on top of your library, and then you draw. Bone Harvest does the same thing, but you draw at the next turn's upkeep. And then Grave Betrayal, anytime anything's dying that you don't control, you get to get it back on your side with a counter on it. And then Bloodgas is a repeatable kind of sack fodder here because he comes back with a landfall ability. Anytime you play a land, if he's in the graveyard, he comes back to the battlefield, so super strong here. And then even more recursion in the deck, we are running a Witch's Cottage, which cares about you having 3 or more swamps, and then it comes in untapped and you get to bring something back from your graveyard to the top of the library. Sheoldred Whispering One is a consistent upkeep trigger for everybody, so your opponents are going to sack and you're going to recur something. Victimize lets you choose 2 and you trade them for 1. On your side, Rise of the Dark Realms brings everything back. Tortured Existence is really strong, so for a black mana, you can discard a creature card to trade one out from your graveyard. Reassembling Skeleton comes back at the cost of 2 mana. Stitched Together brings a creature back, but if you have Threshold, you get to bring it back to the battlefield instead, as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard. And then Phyrexian Reclamation at the cost of 2 life, you get to bring something back, spending 2 mana. Consistent enchantment there, really strong. And then a decent amount of draw in the deck. We are running a War Room and lets you draw at the cost of 1 life and 3 mana. Siphon Mind forces everybody to discard a card and then you draw for everyone discarded that way. Village Rites lets you sack a creature and draw 2 cards. Sign in Blood is letting you draw 2 cards at the cost of 2 life. Deadly Dispute wants you to sack an artifact or creature and then you draw 2 and get a treasure. Phyrexian Arena is letting you draw at your upkeep at the cost of 1 life. Read the Bones lets you scry 2 first and then draw 2 cards. And then Night's Whispers letting you draw 2 at the cost of 2 life. And then a decent amount of removal in the deck as well, so we are running our Withering Torment to deal with a problem enchantment or creature. A Massacre Worm, when it enters, he does kind of a baby board wipe, giving everything -2, but then he has a death trigger on him as well. When a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life, so super strong there. Tragic Slip is giving -13 to a creature as long as a creature died this turn. Massacre Girl is pretty much a board wipe as long as you have a creature with different toughness to hit every single one of her triggers. Toxic Deluge is letting you drain people based off of life. You get to give -X to all creatures for how much life you pay. Feed the Swarms, another dealing with a problem enchantment. Defile does -1 for each swamp you control to a target creature, and then Mutilate does it for each swamp you control to all creatures. And then finally, rounding us out here is our mana. So we are running a Songs of the Damned. For a single black, you get black mana equal to how many creatures are in your graveyard. Dark Ritual gets us to Splinter a little quicker at the cost of 1. Solemn Simulacrum is letting you go and fetch a land as well as draw when it dies. Crypt Gas is doubling up your swamps. Soul Rain is our rock as well as Arcane Signet. Crypt of the Agadim lets you add black for every creature in your graveyard, so pretty strong there. And then a Jet Medallion to discount all of our spells, and a Burnish Heart to go and fetch us 2 swamps.
And with that, our show has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching our video, and if you enjoyed that video, feel free to share it out with any friends who might find value in it as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.